once said that the planet doesn't need more of successful people, but definitely it needs more peacemakers, healers, storytellers, and lovers. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I, Shreeya Katyal, welcome you all to today's talk. Today I'm at Marwah Studios and I am in conversation with Dr. Glen Martin, who's the president for World Constitution and Parliament Association. And of course, he's the professor at Radford University for Philosophy and Peace Studies. So let's talk to him and gather lots of knowledge from him. Hello, sir. Welcome to Marwah Studios today. I would like to know from your side, since you are dealing into the subject of peace studies, what is your take on peace?
Well, that's, of course, a huge subject that people have been talking about for hundreds and maybe thousands of years. The world, as we know, is not a place of peace, right? We not only have groups, for instance, religious groups fighting with one another, but we have a world in which about 193 nation states all are militarized. They have weapons, they have jet fighters, they have ships, and many of them have nuclear weapons, which puts the entire future of humanity in danger. So my take on peace is that we need to be thinking differently. We need to be thinking in terms of a new paradigm, a new way of organizing our lives on planet Earth. We all understand that we're, as they say in the Vedas, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we're all one family. Human beings are all one family. We need to actualize that through the ratification of the Earth Constitution, right? And that's what my organization stands for. The Constitution for the Federation of Earth is a real constitution that creates real global democracy for our planet, and it creates a global authority in which the people of Earth are able to demilitarize the nations, protect human rights, and protect the global environment.
Definitely. So separation is just an illusion and oneness is the ultimate reality. Okay, so to continue with, I would like to know that what is the role of a democracy in keeping peace?
As you know, it goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks, which had the first democracy. But beginning in the 18th century, the idea of democracy, which means that the idea that ordinary people have not only a role in government, but ordinary people have the intelligence and the capacity to participate in government. Democracy means rule of the people. Right. So democracy is a wonderful thing. Now, in the propaganda system that we have been living with in the world for the past several centuries, democracy has often been confused with capitalism, especially in the United States, where I come from. The government says, oh, unless the government is capitalist, it cannot be a democracy. But that is exactly wrong, because under capitalism, as we all know, a few people attain great wealth and great power, and the majority have very little, and those few people that have the wealth and power are the ones that run the society. So here in India, capitalist society is run by the wealthy in India. In the United States, a capitalist society, it's really an oligarchy. It's not a democracy. If you want democracy, you have to have economic as well as political democracy. You have to have some sort of market socialism in which people have a rough and reasonable equality, as well as the education and the political environment, so that they can really participate in government. And that's why democracy, I think, is our future on this planet. We need real democracy. And my final point about this is that we're not going to have democracy in any country in the world, effective democracy, until we unite the people of Earth in a real planetary democracy. Because right now, you say, well, there's democracy in India, there's democracy somewhere else, Germany, democracy in the United States. But all of those, as I said, are really not democracies. They're oligarchies of the rich, and they do not represent the people of their countries, right? The people of Earth want peace. They want sustainability. They want education for their children. They want basic food and so on. And democracy is what can give it to them, but only, again, if we have global democracy, right? Right.
So equality is the main thing which we need in democracy. The idea of democracy can only be taken very constructively when there is equality at every level.
Yes, including basic economic equality of everybody. Yes.
Very well said. So we know that you have been an author. So please share some of your works with us as an author.
Well, as a professor, of course, I write professionally. I write many articles, and I've written 11 books now. And my second book, which came out in 2005, was called Millennium Dawn: The Philosophy of Planetary Crisis and Human Liberation. And that's been the theme, as a philosopher, that's been the theme of my thought. We know, all of us, if we're thoughtful people at all, we know that our planet is in terrible crisis, right? The environment is collapsing. We're in danger of nuclear war, which we've been in danger of since the 1950s or 60s. Nations are wasting their wealth on military rather than on protecting people and so on. Half the people on the planet, 50% of the people, are in desperate need and desperate poverty. This is not only wrong, but it's a crisis, a planetary crisis. So in my first book, I put together the dimensions, what I take to be the dimensions of human liberation. And these have to include a spiritual dimension, an economic dimension, as we were mentioning before. We have to have a form of economic democracy. Political dimension, we need to unite human beings politically under the Constitution for the Federation of Earth. And an ethical dimension. In other words, we have to understand as human beings that there are intelligible ethical principles which can and should animate the lives of everybody, and that we should be teaching to the children of the planet and so on.
Basically, the wholesome development of a human being is indispensable.
Yes, absolutely. And so my subsequent books from that time, they've been called, my next book was called Ascent to Freedom. Then I published a book called Triumph of Civilization, and then The Anatomy of a Sustainable World, and then I published One World Renaissance. You can tell from the titles of these books, I believe very much that human beings have the capacity to deal with these global problems. We're not trapped into self-destruction, right? And my last book, which just came out in July, is called Global Democracy and Human Self-Transcendence, right? Global democracy, of course, means democracy under the Constitution for the Federation of Earth, and human self-transcendence, the book articulates all the ways that each of us is capable of a continual growth, a continual greater maturity, development, so that we actualize the real potential that's within us. If we can do this as a civilization, we will create a totally different world, a new world.
Right, because human beings, once they discovered their potential, their capacity, they become unstoppable in a constructive way.
That's right.
Okay, now I would like to know your experience at Marwah Studios today.
Well, I was here 2 years ago also and visited, and I was very impressed with the wonderful studios that you have and all the many things that are being done. And again, I think this is a very important place. Your President Marwah was talking to us just a few moments ago about all the international work that you're doing, and that he is being considered as the head of 200 nation organization which is talking about solar power and converting to sustainability and so on. I think this is just a wonderful thing.
As an author, I would like to have a message from your side for the budding writers. Like, you are an inspiration, indeed, you have immense experience. So these people can learn from you.
I think I was told by one of my best professors in graduate school that you shouldn't write, you shouldn't be an author unless you have something to say. Right? And just to write to get your name out there is, or whatever, or for publicity or whatever, is not really the authentic way to write. You've got to be a person who understands his or her values, reflects on those values deeply, reflects on how those values could be expressed so that other people can benefit and learn and dialogue and interact with you, and then put that into a public form in the form of writing and publication.
Intellect and creativity should go hand in hand.
Yeah.
There should be a story you should know that what you want to say, and then that should be an inspiration for the world. That's all writers are about. This was from Professor Glen T. Martin's side. I hope you have gathered a lot of knowledge from him. That's all for today in today's talk. I, Shreeya Katyal, sign off for the day. But I'll be back with another amazing celebrity guest for you. Till then, you keep watching MSTV, Har Pal Aapke Saath, and don't forget to stay connected.